Welcome back, everyone, to the Where is the Music podcast. Today I thought we were going to go down to the rabbit hole of one of the most interesting and fascinating challenges of our age. The title of this podcast is Music in the Age of Overabundance, relating to the challenges that artificial intelligence might pose to human creativity, for musicians, for artists, and in general for the human dimension of sharing meaningful content, meaningful art. I was recently asked about this in a different podcast, whether I consider this a threat to human creativity or an opportunity. It is undoubtedly a very unique moment for humans. The possibility that we might experience very soon for creating at the touch of a button music that is as rich and as complex and perhaps as beautiful as the music composed by our most famous and celebrated composers. It certainly poses a series of questions. What will be the value of just letting a computer engage into this creative endeavor? Why would we want to do the same? Why would we challenge ourselves to create things that we can just have made by a machine? I don't necessarily consider this a threat per se. Maybe I see it more as a challenge, a unique challenge of our age, and particularly if I was to point out at what exactly is being challenged here, I think artificial intelligence poses a challenge to the human individual sense of uniqueness, of originality. Perhaps looking back, we can see that this is not an unfamiliar concern. As a matter of fact, we tend to overlook and undermine the role that the recorded music has had in the last 100 years. We find it absolutely normal to have access to a full band sounding like they do sound in a professional recorded studio, coming out of a small technological device such a speaker. This would have been considered wizardry only 150 to 100 years ago, and now is absolutely normal. We are constantly reminded that our human creativity is just one small grain of sand in the overabundance of human creativity out there. The challenge that this perspective poses us tends to transform in the mind of musicians, I would say music students, and certainly it has been a challenge for me as well throughout the years to wrap my hand around it, thinking that for however great is my personal effort to learn new things, to master a particular piece of music, or even a style, a genre, or a particular craft related to creativity, I always have to remind myself that my output as a creative artist is incomparable and to a certain extent quite insignificant related to the beauty, the greatness, the variety, the originality, the incredible amount that is out there. This, throughout the years, I've noticed, creates a sense of perhaps anxiety, or simply maybe even sense of guilt with in relationship to the fact that I, like many of my students, don't necessarily always feel they're doing enough, they're doing well enough, they apply themselves enough in order to become good at playing their instruments. But as you see, this already shows our role of unique individuals, inimitable inimitable individuals compared to the creative work that technology allows us to access every day. So as a result, the anxiety and the fear of missing out transforms literally our very genuine and deep desire to play, to listen to enjoy music, into a race with pretty much ourselves, into an obsession to listen and practice as much as possible, or to know, understand, and study as much music as possible. And with the result, for many of us, to not really being able to appreciate anything in particular. So that's why, instead of the specific challenge that artificial intelligence poses to human creativity, I decided to tackle this topic through the challenge that we face in the age of overabundance. What to do with the incredible amount of things that are beautiful, they probably are worth our attention, or the incredible things that we would like to learn, do for which we will never have enough time. Obviously, this type of challenge affects more the curious, the open-minded, the creative music students, the person who is always searching for something interesting and new, and tends to therefore find more things that they can ever be able to master. Think about then, what was music for you as children? Why were you motivated to listen to it? What were you looking for when you were enjoying it? If you think about it, you realize that the only root motivation you had for enjoying music was just pleasure. Even sitting at the piano or playing your instrument, the only thing you were aiming at was some sort of alignment, some sort of inner joy. So to me, however zen you might think this answer is, but here we have our answer. How to deal with the impossible, non-human amount of music out there by being here and now, by try to invest and appreciate and concentrate in what's in front of us, and practice being 100% in it. You will always miss the vast majority of artistic, aesthetic experiences out there. But if you are able, for whichever artistic, musical, aesthetic experience you encounter, to be there with it fully, you are actually doing a favor to art, you're doing a favor to yourself, and you're making sense of being here and now. My response then to the challenges posed by AI is to search inwards, to find our own uniqueness, our own preferences, our own musical pleasures, to sit at the piano with the same playful attitude that you had when you were a child. And if you're new to it, don't forget to that no one is racing against you, not even yourself. I'm gonna leave you with 5 thoughts related to the topic of today, and I invite you to use them if you wish to reframe your role, your position in this ocean of possibilities. A computer can do 1,000,000 operations. It's remarkable, but none of them is authentic in the human sense. As a matter of fact, however difficult might be for us to practice a passage or to write down 3 notes in our new composition, or to appreciate or read a book about music, however difficult, that will be a sign of our authentic self in its complex, sometimes contradictory nature. But the millions of operations that a computer might be able to do in a few seconds, each of them is just the result of an instruction. And this obviously might lead some of us to talk about, to think about the nature of consciousness, what it is and why it matters. Maybe one day computers will have their own consciousness, but who knows? Certainly now it's not the case. So second thought, we might be tricked into thinking that AI generated music is human. Well, fine. But we can still distinguish between human live performers and a robot. We obviously know that there is a distinction between the speaker playing music and someone real playing music. And if you feel like I do that there is a huge distinction, try to promote the second one. Try to promote live performances. How so? Well, go to see live performances. Pay more attention to those. And if you play an instrument, think of how much more important and meaningful it is, whatever sound comes out of your instrument, compared to the one that comes out of your stereo or your speaker. Third thought. There are today 1,000 computer programs that can speed up our creative process. But we might just take delight in doing things still with pencil and paper. This sounds like an old-fashioned thing to say, and of course there are things that pencil and paper cannot do. At the same time, going at the pace at which the greatest composers of our time went, pencil, paper, one little dot after another, they were able to write some of the most incredible artworks ever been. And the computer programs that, yes, they help us speeding up the creative process and creating things that are that would be extremely difficult to do without, but at the same time they might take away a little bit of control on the musical matter. Fourth thought, there are 1,000,000 tracks to listen to, but what do you do with one? What do you do when you listen to one? So when you are searching for something to listen to, instead of expecting the music to do the work for you and you to just absorb the beauty or the content or whatever it is that you're searching for when you listen to, ask yourself what type of concentration are you gonna put into it. Are you gonna do other things like washing the dishes or talking to friends when you listen to music, or are you going to be 100% focused on the music that you're listening to? This relates to the way we enjoy music, and as a matter of fact, to enjoy music time and effort is required. So consider the time and the effort that you put into it part of the exchange. And the moment you do, you will realize that time and effort have a limit, and that is the limit of your appreciation. So don't expect yourself to be able to listen and enjoy more than the amount of time and the amount of effort that you're willing to that you're able to put into it. And as a last thought, we can create an unlimited amount of sound out of pretty much nowhere through technologies. But my question to you is, can you hear one note, one sound fully from the first to the last moment? Can you walk with it moment after moment, from the moment of silence before the sound to the moment of silence after? Can you lose yourself in it? That is probably close to some sort of meditation practice, but that gives you some sort of sense of your placement, your role, the relationship that one creates with sound, your attention, your ability to lose yourself in sound is a measure of our appreciation. So think about it when you listen to music again. I hope this was not too depressing topic. I find myself particularly inclined to go certain rabbit holes, and I hope you found some opportunity for thinking. Let me know, and thank you for listening.